You went from having your life upended in 24 hours to selling over $1.5 billion in Miami real estate with your partner.
We love breaking records. I think it's like a challenge when someone tells you, no, you're overpriced. No, you're not going to make it. No, you're not going to sell it. We thrive from it.
There's nothing in life you cannot do. You just have to have realistic goals and a process to do it. Like when I started, I thought that I talk funny. It was a little tough, but now I just don't care. People understand me great. If not, they can ask. There's two types of programs, mine and everyone else. And I'm very proud of being Venezuela and the way that I was raised. But after 9/11, I got to experience firsthand everyone for the same cause. I was drinking coffee, looking outside the window. I'm like, oh, that building is burning. And then we got to see when the other tower was hit. We were making food to help everyone in the city, and that's what changed my mind about life. My ex-husband, he landed in Venezuela and started texting, but I was at my open house. And when I get out, I realized that he was kidnapped, that the government was taking him.
Alejandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nina.
You went from having your life completely upended in less than 24 hours to selling over $1.5 billion in Miami real estate with your partner. What is the biggest, most important life lesson you think this journey has given you?
That there's nothing you can't do, basically.
Oh, wow. Okay. How did your first big deal feel?
Powerful.
Yeah.
I think I was very naive because obviously you do a course that lasts a week. I did the intense one. Mm-hmm. And since I didn't start it in real estate as my first job, I knew how hard was it, to get or to earn money. Mm-hmm. So basically I got my license, and I think as a favor, one of my father's friends gave me this opportunity that I thought it was, oh wow, I got a listing. I had 2 months to sell it. It was kind of overpriced back then. But I put everything into it, and I have no idea why, but I got to sell it. And when it did, I was like, what? I can make this in a month and a half? Like, that's going to be amazing.
Were you scared? Did you feel like I can do it?
No, I think I knew I could do it, but the course was 1 week, so I wasn't sure that what I thought was right was actually right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I ask a lot of questions. I never go into something blindly, especially if I have the compromise with someone. So basically, I just went like all the way with it. I sent postcards to all Key Biscayne, which 15 years later, I don't do that for a listing. Mm-hmm. But I did everything that I could. Mm-hmm. I think I spent half of my commission in marketing, but it worked.
It worked. And this was 15 years ago, you said?
This was 2011.
Wow. Can you share some very groundbreaking, fun career facts, maybe with numbers for yourself or for your company?
Yes. Well, I'm in the Nicholas Group. My business partner is Angel Nicholas, and he loves breaking a record. Mm-hmm. So we always get these, crazy deals that he really believes in them, and we pull it off. So yeah, I could tell you a few. Some of them are confidential, mm-hmm. But yes, he's the kind of person that sold a penthouse in Coconut Grove for an amount that nobody believed. And he did it. He took the strategy, he sold it, he rented it. It's definitely when you put something in your mind that it really works out. Mm-hmm. And I have this same way of thinking. So yeah, we have done many great things in real estate. We love breaking records. Mm-hmm. I think it's like a challenge when someone tells you, no, you're overpriced. No, you're not going to make it. No, you're not going to sell it. No, that house is insane. Mm-hmm. And I think we thrive from it.
So both of you are very similar, you and your partner, when it comes to breaking records or thinking that, yes, we can do it. If someone says no, you both align on the vision of, yes, we can.
100%. We're different in personality. Mm-hmm. Like he loves a camera. He loves, teaching people. He's kind of like
he's more nurturing.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's like that kind of person. Mm-hmm. I'm more, I have less patience.
Yeah, you're like, go, go, go. I want
Exactly.
it done this way. I want it done at this time. Like, let's go.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm
like
not
that.
babying you
Correct.
along
like,
the way.
what video? What? No, 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 no. Let's just call the people and get it there. So it complements us in an amazing way. So we get along very well, and yes, we have lots of fun.
Do you have any funny stories that you could share about, like, sale of a home or like a listing that you had?
Yes. So one time I was selling this unit in Coconut Grove. It was a high-end unit. It was beautiful, and for me it was perfect. But you always get, different people coming in and going, and not everybody likes what you like. So I was so into it and so focused. I believe Angel was actually there, or someone from the team was there. And I was so into it. And this is a primary bedroom. This is a walk-in closet. And then the person that is looking at the unit, like the buyer, says, oh, well, I don't like it. It's like dark. It doesn't have like a window. I'm like, oh, no, no, don't worry. If you want to put a window, we'll put a window. It's impossible. You can't put a window in
Where this was
a
located.
building.
Okay,
like
got
you
it,
can't
got it.
call and request a permit to open up a window
Got it.
in your apartment.
Got it.
So everybody but I was so into it, that I was so secure of what I was saying, and that this was the perfect apartment, that nothing happened. And then when I get into the car, I think it was Angel, he's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Were you gonna open a window? And I'm like, well,
It just came out.
it just came out.
It was a
I
word
didn't-
vomit. What do you want me to
Correct.
do?
What do you want me to say?
Oh, that's
But,
hilarious.
yeah.
I'm assuming this was early on in your career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Very early. Very early.
How about you tell us about one of the most grandest moments of your career?
So, when I started, we did what was, the non-typical real estate, because when I started, it was a different market. So there was a lot of properties being foreclosed and short sales. So it was like completely different than doing open houses and people buying homes. So I had this group of investors that I knew that they were, just buying properties to flip them. And after that went on, like around 2015, 2016, when the market started to stabilize, I was just talking to a person that I knew from back then, okay, in Fort Lauderdale. And they were, just saying, oh, that they owned this property. It was a big, big commercial property. And that they were thinking, about selling it. And that if someday, I was interested in doing commercial, which I had done, but not at this scale, just to let them know. So I finished that meeting. That was not about that. It was just a comment he threw in. So I go somewhere else, and the next day I'm sitting down with a friend, and I was talking about, whatever, life, not business. And I mentioned, oh my God, did you know, I didn't know like these properties were, that important and how much they're worth. And he's like, I'm actually looking for that. So I'm like, but like, really? Yeah, I'm actually like, the firm that I work are actually looking to acquire this building, like a building with these characteristics. Wow. So I'm like, well, let me see. So I got to close a very large commercial deal because of the partners involved. I, can't say that much,
Right.
but it was the feeling of, that's what I do. I connect the dots. I love talking to people. I'm just there listening and pairing up. And that's what I love the most about this job.
What was the most defining moment of your life that set you on a path that where you are today?
Of real estate?
Life.
Whoa. I guess probably since I was very little, my father used to have this saying in Spanish that you think life is going to be easy, but life is going to be super tough for you guys. He used to say it in Spanish, say, ustedes creen que la vida es super fácil, pero lo que les va a tocar es super, super duro. I have no idea why you always said that. And I'm telling you, this was when I was like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, like always, always.
So you do come from a very prominent family in Venezuela, but do you think he was saying that because you guys had so much growing up, or was he saying that in general, like for any kid, for anybody, like life is good, but it'll be...
I think it was more of what he was seeing that was going on, like in Venezuela, in the world.
Oh,
like,
okay.
He always thought that, like, obviously he used to say it to me as like my generation, but he always said like, your generation is gonna have it super tough.
Got it.
Like you, like the values, ethics, moral. He was very big on that. Like that was a everyday conversation at home. Like for everything, you would drop a glass of water, and he would tell, "Oh, you think everything is super easy? No, Ale, life is gonna be tough." Okay.
Everything was like a lesson.
Everything
Was turned into a lesson or like a teaching moment.
Everything with my father, I think, was a teaching moment. He was amazing. Like he is amazing.
Yeah.
He's my partner.
So you say that when he would say that to you was a defining moment, or did something happen in your life that defined your future trajectory?
No, I think what defined, like when I really understood that this, like I had to take control of my life, was actually when I was living in New York City. Mm-hmm. I was living when September 11th happened. And it was kind of, I guess what pandemic was for a lot of people right now, for me was that moment. I realized how vulnerable we were, how little time you have, and how you are the only one responsible for your life.
Can you walk me through that moment? Like, how did that shape you?
Yes, I got to go to culinary school, which was what I wanted. It wasn't easy. My dad wanted me to get a bachelor's degree, so it was not like going to Paris and doing the cooking class and then working in a restaurant. So he made me do it like the right way. So I came to study in the CIA in New York City. I graduated and went to work with my favorite chef back then, that was Daniel Bolut in New York City. The day before, my sister came to New York to live with me because she was gonna go to the GIA, to be a Jamosh. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was a coincidence or something, but she arrived the day before. So when I wake up, obviously I was not that happy because, you know, that was my apartment. Now she was coming to live with me. But I wake up and internet was not working. Remember, internet was something else. I didn't have internet in my phone. It was just dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you did something. Like, so I wake her up, you know, like in a fight, and I was drinking coffee, looking outside the window. And I'm talking to her, and she's like, no, Ali, I think something is happening. I said, this is New York. No, listen, like something is happening. I'm like, no, nothing is happening. You just messed up the internet. And we're standing there like fighting. And I was with my cup of coffee looking down the window, and I saw like the building burning. But I was so naive, and I guess so, I don't know, maybe irresponsible, mm-hmm. that I was just seeing a building burn. Like I had no idea what it meant for the people in there. So I'm like, oh, that building is burning out. And then I said, oh my God, what are those people gonna do? So I started, you know, like feeling like a little anxious, and we couldn't, like this was very early. And then we got to see, well, like when the other tower was hit. So we're like, okay, let's go down. My mom was in New York because she came to drop my sister. So she was there, and she came, like when we're getting out, we opened the door, and she's like sweating, super pale. And I'm like, I just ran up the stairs. We lived in like a 57th floor.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Yes, let's get out. And I'm like, no, wait. We need to send an email to my dad. So
and your dad's in Venezuela.
My dad was in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. So, and there was like, I think it's Kinkos or something. Like you would send emails from there when mm-hmm. you didn't have the connection. Mm-hmm. And since it was still early in the morning, we got to go to Kinkos. Like people were flowing from, like we were living, the people in the streets, it was insane. Like I don't think I remember everything correctly because of what we were living in that moment. But I remember going in there, sending that email. And then my mom is like, okay, we need to go to the airport. I'm like, no. I came from Venezuela, mm-hmm. where we had different kinds of problems.
So the running, the guns, like none of that was gonna scare. Like we are used to that.
Yeah, you were a bit prepared, so it wasn't really shocking.
Correct. It was not like paralyzing, shocking. It's like something is going on.
Right. And weren't you raised though with bodyguards and like kind of were prepared to handle moments like this in life? But now you're in New York where you don't expect anything like this to be happening.
Correct.
You're here in college, think it's like safe and everything's fine, but you literally just watched a building go down and one's burning. And your dad's in Venezuela, your mom is here only because she just dropped your sister.
Correct.
And for some reason you're like, no, we're not going to the airport.
And I don't know if this is my imagination or it's actually true, but I could swear that when we were running, and I remember it clearly, there were white papers in the street and the face of the person responsible of the attack. Like
Really?
that, I swear that there were papers like all over. Like it was insane. But remember, I was 22
Yeah.
and everything was happening very fast. But for sure, in the street, people knew that it was a
Terroristic attack.
And I'm telling you, this is, I can't remember the exact time, but I think it was before 9 a.m.
Wow. So you're saying you're running and there's white papers on the street in New York.
There was papers everywhere. I don't know if people were just, walking with papers, but there were papers. I remember the papers like everywhere. Like people were just running up.
But you saw the papers and it had Osama bin Laden's face on them.
Yes, I'm telling you,
Oh my God.
can't remember if it was the first day or the second. We stayed. We stayed in the hotel my mom was staying.
Okay.
We stayed there.
Well, you sent an email to your dad, so you didn't go to the airport.
No. We sent an email. We said, we are fine. We are with my mom and we're going to stay in the hotel. And one of my aunts had a property in Vermont. So we were kind of thinking, okay, maybe we go by car there and we don't stay in the city. But then in the hotel, and this is what I don't remember the exact timeline, but yeah, at some point, like in the news, we were seeing what was going on in different. So we're like, no, it already happened here. Like,
Yeah, it was happening. It was happening in New York. Then something was happening in Pennsylvania or
Washington, I think,
Washington
yeah.
somewhere. Yeah, there was things going.
So we decided, you know what? Like, what's the point of going anywhere? Let's be at that hotel that there's so much gotta be responsible. We felt more protected than in my apartment. And let's just wait. My dad got that email. Like, remember the emails used to, like, and this was in Venezuela, so connection was not.
slow. So then what does your dad do when he finds out that you guys are okay? Do you guys stay in New York?
No, we stayed in New York. We stayed in New York, and I actually, where I was working, the Afghanistan embassy is very close to that restaurant. So they put like a security for 5 blocks. So every time I go to work, you would have to, they will clear you and you would go in.
Wow.
But the restaurant never stopped. But it didn't stop to serve people. We were making food to help.
Wow.
Everyone in the city. I think that's the minute that probably I became an adult. I don't know. That I knew that life was not a joke. That what you did matter. I felt important. I felt that I belonged.
Is it because you just saw the whole city come together and deal with something so catastrophic? Like instead of making food and like selling food, everyone's making food to help everyone, right?
That's what amazed me. Because when I left my country, which I'm very proud of being Venezuelan and I love my country, but we have to be real. That's, like a little internal fight that I had for a few years. But I came from a country that was, in war, like even if it was not a real war, but inside it was. You had 2 sides, and it was actually more sides because you have one here, one there, one that sometimes went to this side. And so we were very disorganized in that. You could see the same humility, the same kindness, everything in parts of Venezuela. And I'm not saying that we don't have that, on the contrary. But I got to experience firsthand what was it, everyone for the same cause.
You didn't see division in New York at that point. You saw division in Venezuela, but you didn't see division in New York. When that had happened, everyone came together, all races, all walks of life, no matter where you're from. It's like everyone just came together to help each other. Humanity.
And that was exactly it. I was working in a French restaurant. I guess only 1/3 of the cooks were Americans. The rest weren't. And that chef that was French said, we are open, whoever wants to come and help. We are feeding people in ground zero.
Wow.
I guess that's also when I decided that, wow, these people really get it. Like there were no opinions. Remember, Venezuela, everybody had an opinion. Everybody had something to say, something that needed to be done differently, something that needed to be taken care in a different way. Or I would do it this way, but no one was doing like anything together.
This is very soon, this is like the same next day. Next day, you're back at work. What,
I think it was like 2-3 days. Yes.
2-3 days later, you do see the division's not there in New York, and I could see it from your point of view, like coming from a country where that's all you saw, and now here it's like something so big happens and they all come together. But it's interesting for me to also hear your story because I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and I think I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I was very little, and from my perspective, it's funny. I saw division, okay? Because immediately it was like anybody who is not of, white skin color and who's ever dark. So they would think that I am from the Middle East, and they would assume that her and her family are like this. You know what I mean? So as a child, that's what I had experienced. So to hear your story, it actually makes me very happy, to be honest, that like this is what New York was like when things were happening, right? I wasn't there. I was too little. And to just see that like makes my heart really, I don't know, it makes me happy to see that was what your experience was.
Yeah. And 100%. And I know that some theories came after and, but apart from all that, whenever I see a documentary and you see the images and it was very intense. It was, for me, it's one of the biggest life lessons I've ever learned. That it doesn't matter who you have beside you, you just.
Have you ever experienced a moment of self-doubt?
Yes.
How'd you overcome it?
I remember myself that I'm perfect. I'm kidding.
Of course. Obviously, it works every time.
I'm kidding. No, yes, of course. Like, I think I'm human.
Yeah.
I just, when I feel that, like when I get those kind of thoughts, I just go back to my goal. I'm a very OCD person. Like, I don't do anything out of nowhere, like in things that could get me doubt. Now, when life throws things at me, okay, that could make me doubt about what road to take or what to do, or I just go back to my inner self and take it from there. I'm very lucky, I think. Like I'm super lucky because I was put in a spot in my life in where I made it. Mm-hmm. I guess for me it could be a little bit easier because I know if I was able to do that,
because of all the stuff that you've gone through and overcome, you feel like, no, I can get through anything.
Correct.
And so even if you have those moments of self-doubt, you're like, you have the self-talk with yourself, I guess. It's like, no, you can do this. You've got this. You've done it before. You've done harder things than this before, been through worse. That's actually really good because most of us forget, Most of us forget that. We're like, oh my God, this thing is so taunting. But yeah, we've all probably been through something else that, okay, you could do this too.
Yeah, no. Well, for me, it works. And later in life, I've read and, I've heard podcasts and I've read biographies. And I think it all has to do with your personality. And a lot of people don't talk about it or like it's just in the way you take things.
Yeah, I think it's in your mindset and your perspective on life. How do you view life? How do you view problems? When an obstacle comes up, do you freak out? Okay, we're all allowed to freak out for a few minutes, but don't live there.
Correct.
Right? Like get yourself out of it. I always think like this is funny, I read this somewhere, like you're not a tree. Right? You're not stuck there with the problem. You can move, you can think, you can speak, you can figure things out, but we get paralyzed. You get paralyzed with fear sometimes. But I will say, I think life experience, like you said, you read and you read podcasts or watch podcasts and do things like life experiences teach you a lot of things, I think, over time where you don't have a choice but to grow and to evolve. You know, I think we all need to learn that, to be honest. Growing up in a prominent Venezuelan business family, how did that shape your view of success and financial independence?
I come fourth generation. Okay, my great grandfather, my grandfather, my uncle that was like a grandfather to me because my grandfather died before I was born. My father was very proud of his family and what his great grandfather had done, and his grandfather, like, he brought me into that world. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. There were 3 girls and a boy. And my mom had me, like, she got married very young. So she had me when she was 20. So I was very close to my dad because then she had like my sister and everything. But I always had like a special connection with my father. So he brought me into that. Like when I was 4, he would take me and say, okay, you need to work in the summer if you want to go on vacation. And it's an amazing company. Like people, I still know the people there. And I worked there for 10 years, for 8 years.
Your family business is still up and running?
Yes.
Are you allowed to like share what it is or
Yeah, it's food. No, it's
food industry.
Food industry in Venezuela.
Okay.
Yes, it's still up and going.
Up and going. Wow.
Yeah, so we were raised like my father raised us in a way that you needed to work for yourself. Like nothing was granted. Like, and many times they told us when we were little, like, this is all ours. Like nothing here is yours. Like they were very, very nice. I don't want you to feel like they would say it in a way for us to like, I don't know, get it in there.
No,
but they wouldn't, like, we had an amazing life.
Completely understand. They're providing with you with all the opportunities and things, but also trying to teach you that, look, this is not yours. Don't get cozy. Don't get comfortable.
Correct.
You got to work for this. If you want this lifestyle and you want to live like we do, then you're going to have to work and learn all the things and do the things that we did. So
Correct.
I understand that.
And there were, like, back then, that respectful parenting thing didn't exist.
Right. Yeah.
So basically it was like, oh, so can we go? No, we're going. You're not going. No, this is mine. No, you know. But I had like an amazing childhood. Honestly, that's one of, like, I don't have many regrets in life, and I wouldn't call it a regret. But that's one thing that I wished I could have my kids experienced. Like, it was super fun. When I became older, okay, that message always stuck in there. I was not pushed into it. Like, I don't want you to get the idea that my father told me, okay, you need to. No, it grew in me. I wanted to be a part of that. My dad was very clear that I would need to work really hard.
To be a part of the family business.
To be a part of the family business.
Okay.
And that with my culinary career, I was not going to do it. And he helped me be whatever I wanted to be, but without me knowing, I think he knew what I wanted to do in life. So when I decided that I wanted to be a chef, he said, fine, like, go to college now. If your grades are good, I'll send you to study in New York. You're not going to go to France, forget the cordon bleu, not gonna happen.
Why? Is New York better or is France, what was?
The bachelor degree.
Oh, he wanted
you would get a degree. For him, it was very important for all his children to get a college degree.
Understood.
And there's not a day that I not thank him for that, because otherwise, at 23, I would have to have started all over again. I did study again, but my previous education helped. And it helped form me. So I took it on myself. So when I went back from New York, I worked at the family company. Now, what I loved the most about it is that the people that I knew since I was 4 or 5, some of them are still there.
Wow.
And it was, like part of me. Like that company, I feel it as a very, very big part of me, and I'm very proud of it.
You would never want to go back and work there?
I wish I could, but I can't. I can't go back to my country.
Is there a reason, or is it just a personal?
No, there's a reason.
There's a reason. Okay.
Yeah.
What values from your Venezuelan upbringing still guide your decisions today?
All of them. Loyalty, ethics, morals,
values, I could see.
humanity, family values. Like I'm all up.
Yeah. You're in real estate, but you started in culinary, right? What drew you to culinary arts initially? And how did that path lead you to real estate?
So when I was 15, there was a formal dinner event in the French embassy. And again, I've eaten in very nice, like I knew culinary, but I've never like thought of behind who's doing anything. Like I know people cook, but I didn't know it was a career. So my mom couldn't go, and my dad said, like I was going with my dad, and it was a very formal thing. It was like with a gown and everything. So I went with him, and it was all about the chef. And Daniel Bolud is here.
Oh,
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
You can get whatever you want in life.
yes. So you're 15 and
I'm 15th in the French embassy. I was wearing a horrible dress that I hated. I looked like a bee. But it was the first time that I understood that culinary was a career, that it was no some person behind curtains preparing food. So that's when I decided, like, so everybody's here for this guy.
okay, so you go to this dinner, you're all dressed up, you're 15, and you realize, oh my gosh, chef is a thing. Like being a
I
chef,
wanna be.
I want to be, this whole thing is for this guy. I want to be him. And now fast forward to what, 5, 6 years later, you are now in New York.
Yes, in his restaurant.
In his restaurants where you were working when 9/11 happened.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Unreal. Okay, so then how do you get into real estate?
I got married, had my first son. Things in Venezuela were not good back then. Okay, I'm talking 2007. 2007, 8, you know, things started to be like people going on the street, a lot of kidnappings. It was not, for me, it was regular life, but for someone else, I don't think it would.
When you got married, were you still in culinary at the time?
No, no. I was working at the family.
You were working at the family business. Okay.
I left culinary after 9/11. I didn't work at a restaurant ever,
Got it. Got it. Okay.
ever again.
Okay.
So I went back to Venezuela, started in the family business, got married, had my son, and everybody was talking about what is your second plan, your second plan, your plan B, the plan B. You should have a plan B because Venezuela was, you know, falling apart, and everybody, you know, had like a plan B if you needed to leave or whatever. So whenever we mentioned that to my father, it was not an option. So you understand, my father was one of the persons that, I don't know how to call it in English, but it was called in Spanish, la mesa de la negociación, where people were working with the government, like they were trying to negotiate with the Chavistas, okay, like a way to get along, okay, and it was a very small table of few people from one side and people from the government.
Okay.
My dad was one of the persons that was on the opposition side. He was a big oppositor,
Got it.
okay? He fought for Venezuela, like he fought for what he believed was right in the country. He is not pro-communism or socialism, so that was always like very important to him.
Okay. Did that make him a target though? Like,
Yes.
Was it, oh, okay. All right.
Yes, a very big one. And going back to what you were asking me about my dad and the family business and everything, he's admirable because he could have done what many people did. That was just remain quiet. Nobody's going to look at me. Nobody's going to come against me. Because I don't know if you know some things about Venezuela, but it's that way. It works that way.
Yeah, you ignore and you stay quiet, or else, you know, they'll come after your family, or this will happen, your kids will get kidnapped. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Venezuela.
So he was not afraid.
Also, him being such a prominent business guy and being so wealthy and successful, people already probably know of him, and now he's also up there speaking out against.
No, and he was involved, like, it was not like he was some guy with a company and he wanted to fight the government.
Right.
No, he was involved, like, he was part of the Chamber of Commerce. He was part of, like, it's not that it was something new for him. Like, he was a big part of the industrial part of Venezuela.
Yeah.
So it's not like no one.
So he was pro Venezuela. So the plan B was not a good idea for him. Like he was big on, guys, this is your country, this is your family, you need to fight, you need to stay, you need to be here. My ex-husband and I were thinking about, the plan B, Australia, Spain, whatever. And one day, because we needed to get out of the country, and I said, you know what, enough is enough. And he thought the same. And
Was it because you felt unsafe?
yes,
Was someone threatened close to you?
yes.
Okay, so you leave.
So we left.
Okay.
So we left and came here, not with that excuse, by the way. We just didn't feel secure anymore. Okay, so we just came here and did things right. We looked for a company that we could buy to get an L1, and the whole process.
Was it Miami that you came to?
It was Miami-Dade.
Miami, okay.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Okay.
But we always vacation in Miami. I used to come.
Okay.
We come twice a year.
Got
we had
it.
A home in Pompano.
So did you start real estate at that point?
When we were talking, okay, well, the typical thing was to buy a door-to-door business, and so we could get the visa, the L1 visa. But I worked. I was like a working person. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go into a warehouse. This is not. I'm not doing this. And the person that was actually helping us with, or giving us the ideas and helping us with the legal visa parts, owned a real estate company. So one day I said, well, sell us half of your company,
And that's how you started?
and that's how I started.
Got it. How did witnessing 9/11 in New York change your perspective on life and opportunity? Like now being in Miami, because you did answer this in the beginning, but if you could go back now and look later in life, when I come back to America, which is now in Miami, were you still carrying something from then?
Yeah.
I'm assuming yes, because you were like, yeah, America's the place I want to go to.
Yes,
Because you had a good...
I completely identified myself with that. And again, I'm very proud of being Venezuela and of the way that I was raised. And I think that actually I have the best of both worlds, because I was born there, made up there, but then came here and became an American.
Your life does get upended or uprooted in 24 hours. And I'm assuming it is not the incident that brought you to Miami, though.
No.
Okay, there was another thing that happens in your life, and without going into details, because I know it's a very sensitive topic, how did you move forward from that? Just give me a little bit of context that
Sure.
you feel comfortable sharing, and then how did you move forward from that?
Sure. So I was living in Miami, doing real estate, living the life. My son was 10, my daughter was 3. It was a very happy moment. Okay, so we get notified that my ex-husband needs to go to Venezuela. He just left. He bought his ticket, he went the next day, and I went to an open house very close by. And while he was flying, he landed in Venezuela, and he started texting. But I'm very workaholic in the sense that I'm very focused on what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So I did hear my phone ringing and ringing and ringing, but I was at my open house. And when I get out, I realized that he was kidnapped. That the government was taking him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And how many hours later do you get this? Do you see your phone?
2 hours. I started the open house at 12, and at 2, I had missing calls from my dad, from him, from everybody that knew that it was...
What was going on? So, okay, here's the thing though. Because you were raised in Venezuela and you were not trained or prepped, but you guys know that this stuff happens, right? When you look at that, are you shocked?
Yes, because I don't want to go pretty much into the details.
Right.
Okay? But when everything happened, I knew that...
So you started to have an idea of okay, this is bigger than what I had thought.
This
is going to turn into
This is the
something.
end.
Okay, got it. Got it.
What was going on, we had no control.
Okay.
And that's the worst feeling of all.
Your family's there too, though, right? Because
My family had to, my family,
Wow.
my dad was there.
and we didn't know where it was coming from. So we didn't know if it was because of my dad or if it was because of, like, we had no idea. We just
Like why this was even happening. Why was he kidnapped? Like what happened?
And here, and you can't, like, also, like, WhatsApp and whatever, like, you could talk, but in Venezuela there's no Wi-Fi, so I don't wish this on anyone ever, like, ever.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking? When that
37.
happened? I wouldn't know what to do.
You would.
I would just be stuck staring at the phone like
Trust me, you would. You would.
life.
And I have an amazing mom and dad, and brother and sisters. I think literally God, or whoever you believe, like the universe or whatever you want to believe that is somewhere, never sends you anything that you can't handle. Like, I've learned that so many times in my life, that now I actually laugh and just turn and say, dude, really?
Yeah.
This, I don't think, like, this you're wrong.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. You moved forward, you'd say, definitely
Well, so yeah,
support of your family.
So I knew, like, the problem was big. Like, that sentiment of not knowing. Okay, I felt everything inside me, and I felt that twice in my life. That was the first time. Just
Crushed.
crushed. Like, physically, you can feel it.
Because you had hope, and now everyone's telling you, no.
I got
This
a
isn't a
reality
3
check
month- yeah.
that I was not expecting.
Yeah. So how did you find the strength to move on? They're saying it's going to be no, LA, 2 to 3 years, and you're crushed in this moment. How do you pick yourself back up?
I was at my parents' house when the attorney was there. I was in the living room. Like I said, I physically felt everything, like, collapse inside of me. I already started again when I came to live in the US. So now I was tired, and I didn't even started dealing with this problem.
Yeah, like you left because of the safety issue. You already had one incident which brought you to
Correct.
Miami, right? And it was all safety related. Then you come here and it's been about, what, 10 years? Everything's great. You said it's one of the happiest moments of your life.
Correct. We had
Everything's
no
going great.
business in Venezuela. We had nothing to do there.
But then it finds you guys somehow. And
Correct.
now you're like, lack of a better word, SHIT, I have to start all over again. How many days was this after you were like feeling crushed?
This was 3 months.
So within 3 months, you're like, all right, you know what? Enough is enough.
Yeah, and I'm not Superwoman. Like, it was like that when everything happened. My dad was coming. Like, I spent 21 days. I couldn't accept what was going on, but I was like dealing with it on the side. But then I would convince myself, like, okay, no, you can't block yourself. You need to work. And by the way, I had just started in a new company.
In Miami.
With new people.
You probably don't feel comfortable saying all of this to them.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah.
Like, I would just show up and work. Like, it was very tough. And the people that I had to tell was because randomly, like, an attorney called me. Like, I had a very big situation going on while I was living my life, which I could not put on the side.
No, you have 2 kids to take care of.
Yes. Which, by the way, my parents, they told me, Ale, relax, calm. Like, I have an amazing family. But it was more like, it was my pride. My pride. And I loved him. And I wanted to take him, like, I wanted to make everything perfect. Like, I was going to make it. It didn't matter how much. Yes, I got frustrated. Yes, I yelled at my mother-in-law. I did not always felt in control, but I knew that was the right way.
Was they asking for like a ransom?
It was not even like a ransom. It's more like,
They're just trying to make a statement.
there's nothing to do here. Like, forget about it. Don't even fight.
Oh.
Yes. And I couldn't live with that.
So not 2 or 3 years, you don't even know if he can come home or not.
Correct.
You don't even know if your kids are going to see their dad or not.
Correct. Or if he's going to be alive.
Alive. Is that very common in Venezuela? The justice system in Venezuela, from what I read and what I know, it's very
I'm just going to put it this way.
unfair.
There's no justice
There is
in
no,
Venezuela.
yeah.
There is no justice.
Yeah.
No legal system. Like, it's all according to the people behind it. That's how it works.
So you can't, not everybody gets a trial. Not everybody gets a lawyer. That's not like a,
No. And lawyers are like
public attorney, like forget it. Like in Venezuela, if they wanted to make a case, unreal case, against you,
They could.
they can.
Wow.
It was really tough from that side, but I was not going to be the pity person living on her parents' home and, you know, everything that I had accomplished. Or that
You don't like to play victim.
Correct. And I don't, like, I could actually say that I don't resonate with it. I am very humble and I have a very, like, I'm very human. But drama and pittiness and labels, I hate labels. I didn't want my kids to be, oh, I didn't want it to be, oh, she is. So I had a very inner circle back then that obviously, like everything in life, it disappeared. It's not real. Everybody looks to be the first one in line, and
Trust me, when things go south, they just skedaddle. Like
Yes.
I'm very familiar with that myself.
Yes.
And you really see who your true friends
and nobody
are.
wants to talk about it.
Nobody
And
wants-
nobody's
no.
daring to say anything.
No, but they'll read about it. They'll
Yes.
Google it. They'll look it up. They'll try to find out.
Correct.
They're nosy, but they don't want to be associated with you.
Correct.
You know, they don't want to help you.
Correct.
They kind of just want to watch.
Correct.
What happens.
Correct.
It's drama.
I had my system, and that's what I did. So after this time, like I think it was like, because again, I was in trouble, okay, and I get that. So I can't tell you exactly, you know, the numbers or anything, but I do remember that I've always suffered from insomnia, and I would talk to the attorney at night. So it was always like after work, after my kids were in bed. I would go outside. I used to smoke cigarettes, so I would go outside in the terrace and I would, you know, talk with the attorney until very, very long hours of the night. And then I would just take a shower. And how can you sleep knowing all that? So I started running. So I would go out at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for a run. And that was actually, I was dressed similar like I'm dressing now. And I had like this, I was very frustrated with the attorney. And I remember just putting the cell down, looking at how many cigarettes I had smoked. And I couldn't scream because it was 2 a.m. and my neighbors would have called the police. And I literally just opened the door and ran through 57th all the way down.
Wow.
All the way down. And when I got there, I said, this is it. You got to listen to something, go to bed, whatever. So that's when I go back. And I don't know if the next day or something, I learned about the 5 a.m. club.
The book.
The book. Literally, like I don't know if it was a message or something, but you asked me what changed my life, that book.
How did you learn about it?
I was browsing, I don't know if it was Instagram or something, and it came out of nowhere. And I actually,
Spoke to you, obviously.
yeah, and the subject caught my attention. Like the 5 a.m. club, like what? So obviously anything that could distract me from anything that would actually help me in work. And I think I saw it actually in a real estate thing or someone real estate talking about it because I had only time for my work or the situation I was dealing with.
Right.
So I bought the book. I read the book. Then I bought it in audio, put it in my car in audio. And I said, listen, if this guy is so well known and he did this and people apply it, it's got to work.
What was it from that? That helped you move forward, is what you're saying, right? The 5 a.m., that moment. You chose to move forward, but that was like your...
It took me off the uncertainty of, okay, shifting to one thing, to the other thing. And then, you know, dealing with the job. And so it got me into a point of, no, this is your life.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do this. There's no excuse. And you need to have time for this. So you have to set boundaries. And you, like it has to work for you. Otherwise, you're going to collapse. It's inhuman.
Can you share some of the things that you learned from that book? that
Sure.
helped you?
So I was already not sleeping that well, so it was not that tough. But I started going back to not a schedule, because I've always had a schedule, especially in this industry. I have a written agenda actually that I write. But to the boundaries and the time blocking. Basically, what I learned the most is that if I started ahead of everyone, I wouldn't feel overwhelmed, because that was my thing. I was trying to work, I was trying to focus, and then something in Venezuela happened or something. And I hated that feeling of not being 100% in something. And I hated that. So I started waking up very early. And when you wake up at that time, when nobody's needing you, nobody is like, you're not going to see anything in your phone. And actually that changed also. I changed that. After he was safe and came back, my ex-husband, I started not to look at the phone before. I do it before 7 a.m.
But you still have like an hour or two to yourself without looking at
myself.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not to myself like to wander birds. No. It's to actually organize my day. Remember to myself what is important. That if I don't make it to that meeting that I put in between the other one, it's okay to cancel. That, like the important thing is this, and this is what you're going to get done today, and this is how it's going to end. I program my day to how it's going to go. I control that.
Yeah. I just saw a meme the other day actually, and it was something comical, but it was a woman showing herself with a red light mask and like a hair mask and like listening to some sort of, positive tape and like making her homemade breakfast while her husband just got up, splashed water on his face, put clothes on and put his work clothes on and ran out the door. And it's like, why is it that my husband can just like jump into life every single day and just go, and I have to do like a 10-step routine for myself? And I was thinking about myself and I'm like, that is so true. So I've been waking up since 5 a.m. since I was in high school.
Okay.
Because I always, as a little girl, my mom will tells me this and tells everyone this all the time. She's like, Nina always had to dress nice, makeup done, hair done, this done, and then I would step out for my day. I didn't know that that's what I was doing when I was little, but that's like, it made me feel like I was ahead. Now that I look back and I think about my room when I was a little girl and when I would be waking up with my alarm and everybody else in the house, my brother's sleeping, my parents are sleeping, but I'm up there like doing my makeup, curling my hair, like matching my ribbon to night before I would put my shirt out and match my ribbon to. But it was such a way of me at 8 o'clock when the school bell rang, I was there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was already ready for school to start. I had to always, I needed that time to myself in the mornings. As I got older, it started to change and adapt to my new life. Like if it's work, then I'm waking up 1 hour earlier. I'm now starting to go to the gym. Oh, now I meditate, so I have to meditate. That's the first thing I do. I still wake up at 5, but the first thing I do before I look at my phone is I meditate and I do breath work. And I have to, because if I have to just get up and jump into life, my whole day is frazzled. Don't you feel very like uneasy and like this nervous little energy that's keeping you going, and then you fizzle out?
Yeah, so it's cool that you figured it out like earlier. I had no idea. Like for me, it was just set up the alarm and, prep for where you need to be at whatever time. But when I learned this, it's actually, if I don't do it, I feel uncomfortable. Like
yes.
The days that I'm like, I know, I'll just wake, like just to get ready, I don't feel myself.
Yeah.
And the visualization and the affirmations, it was also, I started listening to many podcasts because I love to learn from people, especially when they are successful. Because nowadays you have to be careful who you are listening and what you're applying in your life too. Okay, because everybody's a coach now. Mm-hmm. But they said something that literally stuck in my head. What is really the life that you want? Because, and they were interviewing this person and they were asking her, why do you live such an unconventional life? And she said, well, because I was raised to believe that this is what should make me happy. That also made me realize a lot of things in my life. So I started not feeling ashamed of saying what I wanted and what would make me happy. Because remember, I'm not Superwoman. Like I was living like a terrible time in my life. But what no one can say is that I was like, I did it. Yes.
You didn't give up.
Yes, I didn't give up. I did it. And when it started, it was actually this, like, getting to the next day and going and like winning little battles was actually what fueled me into it. Because my job became like my priority because I needed to take care of my family. So I was not seeing my job as the fun thing it was before.
Is that what you would say was the biggest thing you learned about yourself during this transformation that you had when you're like, picking yourself back up, that I have more in me than I thought? I'm stronger than I thought?
I learned that no one can ever tell me that it can't be done. Like, obviously, there are things in life but this one that I could not control. It was nothing with health, because obviously it's a different kind of battle. But this one showed me that there's nothing in life that you cannot do. You just have to have realistic goals and a process to do it. Like, you just can't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I want to make $1 million. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen that way.
Right.
But that, with all the other tools that you use, it's just
a matter of time.
Correct.
It'll happen.
There's no way you're going to miss.
Real estate in the Miami market is very competitive. I know that firsthand. What's been the biggest challenge that you've faced breaking into this industry, especially as a woman?
Obviously, when I started, I thought that I talk funny. So, I thought that it was, sometimes I just don't think and I talk. Mm-hmm. And to overcome that early was a little tough, but now I just don't care. Like, if people understand me, great. If not, they can ask.
Or they can assume we don't.
There's two types of problems, mine and everyone else. So,
I love that attitude. I love it.
So now I try my best. No, but it was kind of like I felt that, I was not like the rest. So why would someone, hire me or want to work with me if I was not the traditional real estate profile that you would see? And I learned that I was super wrong. I started meeting people. I actually met a lot of people in the industry that would tell me different. And those connections helped me a lot. So I guess what helped me get insight, because yes, it's very competitive, but markets are different. I know what I like. I know what I want to do. That, kinds of narrows it to a level where I just try to be the best. Mm-hmm. And I always say it, I don't make anyone work with me, but I do know that I'm going to make it happen. It's up to, it also comes with the personality. Some people like to work in a different style. I'm a 24/7 agent.
Can you share a moment when you took a very big risk in your career, and how did it turn out?
When I started in real estate, it's because my ex-husband and I had acquired half of this real estate company, obviously to also get the visa. We're going to work it, but we would have, a different objective too. But it was a boutique company, and I came from corporate. I came from sales meeting. I came from suits. So I played it that way because for me, that's how I used to do my job. Mm-hmm. So I would show up to showings and someone was wearing flip-flops and I was actually,
offended, mad.
Correct. No, I was completely overdressed for most of the showings that I was doing. Okay. But, it's the way I am. So when I got this opportunity, this person got me into going into this bigger company. I was thrilled. Something inside of me said, you're gonna stop being the broker, the owner, to become a broker associate? How is that? For some people would have felt like
a demotion.
But I rather be in a larger company, in the corporate world again, and it's gonna be great. So that's one of the biggest risks that I took. I was stopping, I was gonna stop being my own broker and work for someone else. But then the bigger one was when I changed into the company that I am right now.
Yeah, because now you're partners with somebody now.
Well, no. Okay. In Compass, we work at Compass, and within Compass we have the Nicholas Group.
Okay, understood.
So
all right.
The founder and my partner is Angel Nicholas, and then it's me. that I always joke I'm going to change my last name.
Okay, got it. So you went from that corporate to what you do now. But
Correct.
the biggest risk you had taken was leaving the boutique that you owned with your ex-husband, and what seemed like a demotion to people, but you were going to be in a larger company with obviously more opportunities and whatnot.
Correct.
That comes with that, of course.
And I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't knew how it, because obviously the split was different. Like over there, everything was mine. Now I was working for someone else.
What's a failure that you once feared would end your career, but it actually ended up helping you?
The first time I did a commercial deal, okay, it came from, I had this client and he called me and said, I have this warehouse, I need you to sell it.
Just a warehouse?
Yes, a warehouse, and I was selling beautiful homes.
Okay.
But the warehouse was worth 4 of the homes that I was selling, but it was a different world, especially in real estate here. Commercial is very separated from residential, and usually they tell you like you can't do both, you can't do both, you can't do both. Well, guess what?
You're going to prove them wrong.
You can. He told me, he said, I don't like the broker that I'm working with, and these people are different. You are a broker, you go do it. I was in my own company, in my beauty company. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't even know how to take pictures on, like, he said, Ale, just deal with it. Either find someone, co-lease, like whatever, but just sell it. And that was very early. That was in 2012. I got to sell it and got to love commercial. And I've done many great commercial deals. And it all started because of that.
Because of that, now you're not afraid of commercial deals.
No.
That's incredible. How do you balance between being aggressive or being assertive in your career or at work?
I think like they come in hand. Okay, so I always follow my gut. And I'm not sure if that's always been like, or trying to be assertive or what, but for me it's my gut. Like if something feels wrong, and it can be anything. It could be like in work, in a plane or whatever. I just don't go through it. And I'm tiny. I have to be aggressive. Like I'm really tiny, and I'm a woman. And again, I have nothing against the power of woman, the power of man. But it's one of the things that honestly for me.
Does it come naturally to you?
I've never felt different, so I don't know why,
So for me, it's the same. That's why I ask. So I have always been a little bit, I'm not aggressive, but I'm very assertive. However, it can be perceived or received as aggressive. And so I have learned that there are certain personalities of people that I just simply cannot work with. I cannot hire. I cannot have them on my team. However, as I get a little bit older and I'm starting to expand, I'm like, okay, maybe my delivery can be one way with somebody, my delivery can be nothing with someone else, but that's not feasible in the long term, right? Like, it's just not. Like, what's going on in my mind is like 10 different things, overarching, visions for the company. I can't be babying every which way. So that's what I was wondering, I do feel that as a woman, if you are assertive or aggressive, to be very honest with you, it is perceived as aggressive no matter what.
No matter
or
what.
You are called a bitch.
Correct.
But when a man does it, nobody bats an eye.
Nobody even.
They get scared, they skedaddle, and they go do the job.
Correct.
So why in 2025 is it still like that? I've stopped asking this question now, and I just ask women like yourself, is this what you do? Is this how you handle it? Okay, then that's how I continue to handle it. It's just how we have to do it.
Again, for me, I don't see any difference. And whoever wants to, I don't see it in not in the way that it doesn't happen. For me, in my world, again, there's 2 types of problems.
Yeah.
It's not one of mine.
This is my problem, it's your problem.
Correct. But yes, I do get, and it's funny that you mention it, but sometimes after a meeting or something, I go back into my car and I think maybe I didn't deliver the right message. And I've always blamed it on me being small and tiny and a woman. So I always, hey.
We overcompensate, listen to me.
Correct. And they will tell you, why are you always like, nah. I'm like, no, it's just me talking.
Yeah, that's exactly. I talk like that with my husband too, and he's like, "Calm down, relax. Okay, I'll go do it." He's used to me now, but it is how I have always been. And I will go a little step further on this. Sometimes I also think maybe it's because of my upbringing. So I was raised by immigrant parents, okay? Our culture is a little bit different. I know Venezuela is the same way too. We're just a little bit like fiery. I can't explain it, you know? It's out of love, it's not personal.
Correct.
I can completely detach the person from the job that maybe didn't get done the way it was. Like, I still have love for you, I still care about you. Like, you know, you're still working here or working with me. But yeah, my delivery is a little bit more direct and assertive, but I don't want to see it as a bad thing. It's how I am. So I love when I see women like yourself practicing this too and being very successful, that no, it's okay. Like that's fine. Would it be fair to say that you think financial stability is the foundation and the most important thing of everything else? Like, would you say that's the foundation over love, over family? Like, would you say financial stability is important?
6 years ago, I would have told you, no, different. Like, no way. But I'm not ashamed anymore. And I'm going to tell you, as per my experience, financial freedom, which, by the way, financial freedom is not being wealthy.
No.
Like, it has nothing to do with that. Financial freedom is what, if you have it, you're able to make decisions because of what you want and not because of what you need. And for me, that is very important. After everything I went through, I cannot be in a position where my decisions, everything revolving me or my kids, depend on something. So for me, yes, the priority at this point in my life, with what I went through, it's the most important.
Financial stability. You're not the only person to sit here and say that to me.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the
yeah,
only
no, you're not. And it's definitely a recurring theme that I'm seeing. I've always felt that way, but I've been raised that way. Both my parents were very clear to me, and I look back sometimes and I think, like, why were they so hard on me? Why were they so tough on me? But their whole thing was, we have dealt with financial instability to come to this country and provide for you so you don't have financial instability and you actually have stability in your life. And as a woman, my dad used to say to me, like, he literally used to say to me, he goes, Nina, I want you to be in charge of your finances for the rest of your life. I don't want you to listen to any guy about those things. My mom used to say the same thing to me. But here's the funny part. Growing up, I did watch my parents' dynamic, and I love them to death. This is not something like, especially my mom. I'm very close to my mom. But she did make certain decisions in her life based on the fact that she was not financially independent or free from my father. And things that she put up with, today I would not put up with in my marriage. Things that she kind of dealt with and swallowed and kind of took one for the family, I would never. I shouldn't say never. God can make you do anything. But she really did. And I look back, her reasoning for telling me and my dad's reasoning for telling me to be financial were two very different things. Now that I'm older and I look back, she was my age at the time when my family went through what they went through. And yeah, she was 35, I think, 35, 36. And she was doing things to help the family be financially stable. They were both in business together, but she didn't have a choice. She didn't have anything to fall back on, and she knew, I can't give these kids the life that I want them to have. So she stayed in a marriage that she probably maybe shouldn't have stayed in, you know? And so that was her reasoning for telling me, hey, be financially independent, be financially free. So now you have me, who doesn't know how to be anything but an alpha female. Be aggressive, be assertive. It's my way or the highway. You know what I mean? Like, I'm controlling this. I'm taking care of our finances. Even to this day in our marriage, I handle all of our finances and do everything, even though my husband is in the finance industry. But that's just like the thing in me. That's call it control, call it whatever you want. It's like, I have to have my own independence and I have to know where everything's going, what's happening, where are we spending, what are we doing. But yesterday I had a guest here and she said something very, very similar. She's like, I could walk away from her unhappy or from her marriage because I knew I could.
And that's the thing.
Yeah. You made the conscious choice to prioritize your career as the foundation for your family's well-being. How has that shaped your definition of being a good mother?
It's a joint thing. It's not about balance. Okay, I don't see it that way. So yes, my career is the most important thing and the priority in the house, because basically they are my priority. And without it, I can't love them. I can't be okay. So if you see it like it's like a cycle, and I have explained it to them in the best way that I can. I work 24/7. My clients, yes, they are my priority, but it doesn't mean that they are not. So I just need to do that and be available and do what I do in order for them to be what I wish they are. Because in the end, it's what I wish for them. I want them to have a good education. I want them to be taken care of. But I don't feel that I am abandoning them. And I had to sit down with them. And I did it in 2018. I sat down with both of them and I told them, I want you to understand that I'm a call away. It's just a call. But I'm a mom that works. And I want to do it. I've never threw it to them, because that feeling of guilt, I don't think is good. So I've never told them, like, because of you, or I need, no. I want to do this. I want to work so you can have someone always at home prepping the food when you come from school. Like, they are not alone. Like, I have my kids very well taken care of, like in the physical presence when I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I don't feel that I'm doing something wrong. Some people have said something, but yeah, I can say it.
That's their problem.
Exactly. I can say it out loud. Yes, I did prioritize my career and my job.
But also to be fair though, you had to. With what happened with your ex-husband, you had to jump in and take care of things. And there's a lot of people in the, like, where women have to jump in and take care of stuff.
Well, thank you, Nina, for thinking like that, because it was the opposite. Some of my inner circle actually thought that no, that it was okay, but that my kids needed me there. Needed what? A frustrated, helpless woman.
I mean, what's going to happen to the roof on their heads? Correct. What's going to happen to their education? What's going to happen to the food on the table? Kids need all of that to survive. So who was going to do that if the dad wasn't? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I see it from your point of view, to be honest.
Well, I really appreciate it, because some people think that park time, and which, by the way, I have, like,
I'm sure you still gave them park time. You know what I mean? I'm sure it still happened.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a controlled, that is not that controlled, but we have our time. Yeah. And we love it.
In a high pressure industry like real estate, how do you maintain your mental and emotional resilience? I mean, I think life has made you very resilient, but in real estate, how do you continue to do that today?
I know what it takes to be good at it. So, like, it's not only the network or anything. Like, I know my numbers, I know my area. For fun, I actually look at listings. Like, I live and breathe real estate. So I just know that I'm doing what it needs to be done and more. So that's how I keep myself.
So you're ahead of the game at all times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I'm capable. Like, I think some people are more, like, discouraged, or they want to live somebody else's dream. Like, I see these people getting into real estate, and right away they want to be selling 5 and 6 and wear the watch and get out of the car.
Do you think it's because of those shows?
I've always said it, and I was telling Angel the other day, I'm like, Angel, I think we are the ones that are guilty of this, because it's a joke. Mm-hmm. If I would not be in real estate and I would see that show, I would feel like it's really a joke. That's nothing of what we do at all.
It's very glamorized.
And fake. Like, I mean, come on. Who is going to come and say, oh, here is $15 million. I'm buying this house.
Yeah, they don't show like the nitty gritty, the negotiating back and forth. It's all like everyone's dressed up nice, looks nice all the time. Listen, I have seen real estate agents that sell $80 million homes, but they're showing up to the listing in like sweatpants in the middle of the night, because that's when these clients are flying in from like Russia. Okay, like, it is not that glamorous. Correct. It is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of hard work, even weekends. But you have time to film and have drama. Really?
Exactly. And what are you doing the rest of the day? Because I'm telling you, yesterday I was doing open house in order to run to get to a boat because I was going to spend time with my friends.
Yeah.
And in the middle, guess what? 2 calls came in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was not that glamorous looking, but I was doing it. But yes, I think it depends. I don't get frustrated. I know what I want. I know what market I want. Obviously, you always want, to get better, but it's not in the value. Like, for me, it's different. It's about the connection of people and getting, something done.
Yeah. What are your personal strategies for dealing with rejection? Because it's not all winning in real estate. It's not. I mean, I'm sure you've had instances where no one's bought a house and it's just sitting there, and like that is rejection in some form in your career. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, thank God it happened like later I was so persistent and so into the numbers, and I got really lucky with the properties that I was selling. But yeah, the first time it happened that I lost a listing, I was literally crushed. But it was more of like it had nothing to do with the commission or with anything. I felt that they didn't want me. It was a couple, and I was crying like horribly, and I called Angel, and I'm like, Angel, he's like, what? This is the first time you lose a listing? Why are you crying? Ale, you know how many other listings you're gonna lose? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, it's just not fun working with someone that is not in the same, arena as you are, or because in the end it's teamwork. Either you work for developers or you work for the actual owners of the home or investors. It's teamwork. I don't control what's coming into the market. I don't control what happens in the country. I don't have a magic ball. I'm just here always ready to react. I know the tactics and how to react and when is it the right time to do it. So that is what I bring in. So if we are not, in the same, I rather, just
Cut your losses and move on.
Yeah.
And go your own ways.
100%.
What's the most misunderstood thing about success that most people don't realize until they actually achieve it?
I think it does feel, great when you succeed in what you do, but I thought it was gonna feel different.
Different as in better, more, or like so you like make it out to be like a bigger thing in your
I
mind?
thought fireworks, man. But in the end, I was like, that was it.
Yeah.
Let's go do it again.
Let's go do it again.
So,
okay, what's the next thing?
correct.
Right?
So I think that maybe I just haven't gotten to where I need to be.
That's what I tell my husband this all the time. He's like, when is it enough for you? Like, he's like, you're always like this. In anything in life, a personal life or businesses or this, we hit our milestones and we hit our markers. And then I'm like, okay, well, what about this? Like, same night, I'm like ready to go for something else. He's like, are you not happy? I was like, it has nothing to do with happiness. It's all about feeling that fulfillment of like when you hit that mark. That's what I have found. That in success, it's like, don't think that this is the end all be all. You'll get here and you can be content and still driven and motivated
Correct.
to hit something more. And I think that's what keeps us alive.
Yeah, and that's what I think, because I don't want, to sound, like, oh yeah, I'm very successful. No. I've earned everything, but I don't feel that I'm
there
yet.
Yeah.
And it's and now I actually laugh at it, because I was thinking the other day about that, and I said, when is enough going to be? And I love having many deals at the same time, and I calculate and I go, and I was in the car. I think in 2 places, in my car and in my shower, by the way. But I was thinking like, a deal closed, and it's okay, closed. I'm like, yeah, and then this is gonna be my 3 minutes of happiness, because then I kind of forget. But what the heck?
Let's talk about the current market in Miami.
Fun.
Love it.
Yes. Well, there's always a market. When people ask me this question, like everybody is expecting, the answer, but there's always a market. And Miami became a very desirable place to live. Obviously, after pandemic, we don't have to go there because
we all know. Yeah.
We all know. So the way it has evolved is fascinating. But we became a little spoiled after pandemic, and we tend to forget that we are transacting with big properties, So again, this is in my market, okay? So, It's not that the market is coming up or is going down. It's more of it adjusting to what we are selling. So everybody gets focused on this price per square footage. I think that is one of the things that have hurt our market the most, because not every builder builds the same. Okay, and you tried, like, people tend to think it's the same product. So when you have somebody that is selling their home and they saw that the one next door sold at X amount price per square footage, and his is amazing and is, you know, a great home, and he prices that based on the neighbor.
Well, my question there would be, because we've been house hunting for a while now, my question would be there, what about the quality of the home? Okay, this one has amazing finishes, has Gaggenau appliances, is this, is that, like detailed crown molding and this. This one over here is a modern box.
Well, that's exactly what's happening with the price per square footage. And everybody, you know, trying to be a developer, because that's another thing. Like, we have to be realistic when we discuss, especially the luxury market, okay? Or with the buildings. The market exists and people want to come here, or people want to stay here, and people want to upgrade their their living spaces, because it all changed. Before pandemic, luxury was different, and it all comes in hand, okay? And what you just said is exactly my point. That's the reason why you see so many properties selling for X amount of money, and some others in the same area are in the market for a longer period of time. Real estate is an art. It's just not everybody, you know, playing just to buy a home, and it comes together with that. Before, you could just go chop around. Most of the homes were similar. You would, you know, maybe use an agent, maybe didn't, but it would be foolish for you to go into this market without an expert, not an agent, an expert.
I agree.
In what you're looking for. And I believe that's what's happening in the market. It's not coming down. I can tell you that we have sold and gotten into contract properties that still break records in price per square footage. Mm-hmm. We sold an apartment in the building that we're selling in Key Biscayne that was the highest record price per square footage in December. Everybody said, you're not going to do it. We did it, and it set the new standard, and all the properties followed. And that's where it's wrong, because we were new construction. We were 4-bed, 4-bath. We had a low homeowners association fee. Mm-hmm. It's not like it goes together. So the market is strong in each segment that is selling. It just needs to be in the right segment for it to move.
Understood.
And that's why
people don't talk about this. This is not really said anywhere.
You know what? Because I guess people analyze it like in different ways. And most of the, like if you were interviewing me right now on real estate, I would start telling you, and this is the price per square footage that we got, and this is the amount of money that we got for. I'm talking to you more on what I do. That's what we do. That's why we are the experts in the area, in the areas that we are. So it's different. And the agents that don't know this, it's what I believe harm our market. Even if they are the ones that sell the most. They're going like tables. Oh, this house closed at this amount, so we are going to list at this amount. Hold on. How much did your developer take into consideration when building that house? Do you have European oak floors? Do you have custom kitchens, or do you have prefabricated kitchens, or do you have your own carpenter done kitchens?
Yeah, that's always been my question when we look at houses. I'm just like, how can you? I just like stand there and I'm like, well, but this one has XYZ, this one doesn't, but this is the price per square. It never, the math did not math for me.
And
ever.
people sometimes are afraid to ask. It's like when I discovered that being a chef was actually a career. So that's what your agent is there for, your broker, your realtor, whatever you want to call it, your advisor. Mm-hmm. And that's why we, like, especially in our team, we don't call ourselves realtors. No. And those are all valid questions that people don't ask. And when you are representing like the listing, like for example, the house that one of the homes that I'm selling, I try to communicate as much as possible to the people to the person that comes in. But if the agent of that person doesn't allow you, then because, either they start talking or they take over, it's completely valid to ask.
Yeah.
So if you're house hunting and you go ask,
Yeah.
why, like,
Oh, I ask.
exactly.
Yeah, I ask.
Few people don't.
Assertively, I ask.
Exactly, and you have to.
They don't like me very much. As a woman in a leadership position, have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome?
I don't think so.
I didn't know the answer to this question before, but now I do after talking to you for a while. But now I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, you can do it, and you should. But what would you say to somebody who is dealing with imposter syndrome?
To just forget about, like, I don't believe anyone can tell you what you're capable or what you are not capable of, and that is the core of everything. Like, it's okay to doubt ourselves,
It happens to me, to you. It all happens to all of us.
and it's part of success, by the
Yes.
way.
Yes, it is.
Because if you don't, there's no way you're going to make it. But you need to be careful in how you do it. It's like my humble opinion. So to the people that doubt and feel that maybe they are not,
Why would they be successful? Why
Exactly.
can I do this? Like, I could never do this, but they want to.
find someone that holds you accountable.
That's a good one.
Let's say I come to you and I said, Nina, you know what? I want to make this and this and this. And you tell me, wow, I think it's great. I think you can make it. Yeah, okay, but I need you to hold me accountable. Okay, because in order to do this, I need, and I'm going to say it in real estate. We say it to the agents. Okay, so you want to make $500,000 in commission this year. Okay. How much do you need to sell of the kind of properties that you sell? X amount. Okay. And to get one of those listings, what do? I do this. Okay, you need to replicate this how many times? If you do this, you got to be able to do it. But you need someone to hold you accountable. Someone that will call you and remind you. Someone that if I go to you and say, Nina, I think that I'm not going to make it. Ale, have you made the calls? Well, then yes, you can make it.
You're not putting in the work. You're not putting the effort. That's a really good way.
Correct.
Yeah. Find someone that can hold you accountable to your own BS, basically.
Correct.
And call you out on your stuff so that you're actually taking actions.
And it could be a coworker, it could be your partner, it could be a friend. It's got to be someone that you actually respect.
Yeah.
And connect.
Yeah.
Because
And someone that's not afraid to say it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. How do you inspire and empower other women that look up to you?
I don't think that no one has asked me, I want to be like you or
No, but I think your presence alone and your life alone inspires.
Oh, well, by being myself.
Yeah, and empowers people. I think you're a very inspiring person.
Oh, thank you. Well, by being myself.
If I hear your-
As you may have noticed, I don't shut up.
Yeah.
I talk and talk and talk.
No. It's
No,
great.
I'm very open. Now, trying to understand the question. I'm very open. I'm always, there for people, or even people that I don't know when we start a conversation. Actually, kind of, I guess, when we met. Mm-hmm. I'm very zero ego, zero selfish about it. Whoever comes to me and asks me, what do you do? How do you do it? I'm very open about it.
You're willing to. You don't gatekeep anything. You share everything.
Correct.
Yeah. What is one trait that you believe every successful leader must have?
Believe in themselves.
Yeah, because if you don't believe in you, then-
Confidence.
yeah. Do you think that balance is a thing in success?
For me, it's not about balance. It's about integration. That's how I see it, because I would lie to you if I would tell, and I don't want that in my life. And that's one of the things that you read that they tell you, and you're supposed to have balance in your life. Okay, define balance.
Yeah, I think it's very subjective. I also think that balance metric changes in your life. When you have kids, when your kids are older, or now your kids are doing more sports, or, maybe your spouse got sick or something happened here. So, I think that's always a moving target or a moving variable in life. But I agree with you. If you're really trying to do something great in life and you have very high expectations of yourself and goals, I don't think that balance is something that you should be seeking. Integration, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see.
Or
it.
accepting the fact that when I put 50% of my time over here. That means that's 50% less time to go over here. That's just simple math.
Correct. And if you're like, for example, like for me, I never stop doing anything that I want to. I can tell you that 100%. But I know my priorities and I know my things. So, for example, going to a trip with my friends and I have a closing, I don't feel bad at all that I can't go. Because in my priorities, it's my job and it's part of me. I would feel terrible if I go. I couldn't go. I would not enjoy it.
You wouldn't have fun.
Exactly. But I don't feel sorry that, oh, this is my life. No, I have the life that I want. So when people tell me, no, but you have to do this and you have to have balance, I get what I need from places that you have no idea. Because also, for me, maybe de-stressing is actually looking at what has come new in the market, like detailed, like picture by picture, not just by the number. That gives me peace. I can go at home and feel that I've done everything that I needed. For other people, it might be just go outside and walk.
Yeah.
So that's how I see balance. I don't worry about that.
What has been the most transformative relationship in your life that you've had?
The relationship with my father. Because he's who I want to be when I grow older. I admire him. I love him. He's been there for me in, like, as a father figure, but he has told me the truth the way it needed to be said. He's my partner in crime. He's my biggest fan.
That's beautiful. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice between your personal life or your career? Was there ever a moment where you had to be like...
Yes, I had. And it was forced.
Oh, so you didn't want to do okay.
No, I didn't want it. But yes, I had to have like a minor surgery that I just, I couldn't postpone it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I thought I could handle both.
Okay.
And I did, and I went into the surgery.
Okay.
And then they told me, what? No, you just, right there, this December.
Wait, so you tried not to pick, and you tried to do both, I guess, the career and
Correct.
the personal?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like, when I learned that I had to do the surgery
Yeah.
and that it had to be like soon.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. Don't worry. I'll do it. I have everything will be okay. And they told me it's only, one day, and that some people can even go home on the same day.
Oh, okay.
So I went in there December 7th.
Okay.
And it's actually a funny story because I'm there with my boyfriend is with me, and I'm about to like get everything and prep for the surgery, and the doctor comes in, and I'm like, well, okay, so let's do everything and get it over with because I have a meeting tomorrow. The meeting was in the afternoon, and she's looking at me like, what is this woman talking about? And my boyfriend is like, I told you that it didn't sound, and I'm like, no, wait, hold on. I have my day is full tomorrow. You said that this was like something
Quick.
It's like, yeah, the procedure is quick, but you need at least 45 days of rest.
Oh my gosh.
I was like the same, like, no, okay, no. I can't have the surgery right now. Like, I need to go.
45 days.
My boyfriend said, I think it's late. No, the doctor is joking. I'm pretty sure she's joking.
Wow.
I didn't ask what the surgery was about.
Wow.
So yes, I went home. I did go to my team's holiday party because it's my team and I needed to be there. And I learned that.
Sometimes you'll be forced to choose sometimes.
Correct.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Correct. So
I think when it comes to health, we don't control that.
and that's the only thing that I'm afraid of.
It'll like force you,
Correct.
to stop and
Correct.
to like, take a minute. What's your why? Why do you keep doing what you do?
It's gonna sound weird, but yes, they've asked the question before for me. Honestly,
for me.
Yeah, I think somewhere you find fulfillment from all of it. It's not chasing happiness. It's not chasing wealth. It's not chasing money. Kids will be older and be on their own at some point, but it's fulfillment.
I do it for me. Before, I was doing it for the different reasons. And I learned, and I don't want to say I learned the hard way because it's not true. I just learned that the only one that you really have is yourself. So everything I do in life, and I don't hold grudges, or if I do something, it's because I want to. I do it for me. And that could be going to my kid's soccer game. I don't go for him. I go for me. It's what makes me feel good and right.
Yeah. I don't mean to go backtracking on a question, but I just thought of something. You said the most thing that you're afraid of, because I feel like you're not afraid of anything, because you can do anything. But you said the most thing you're afraid of is like health stuff. How do you handle that? How do you handle that fear?
Terrible, because like in my way of thinking, everything that you can control, okay, it's doable. And what you can't control, you just don't fight it. But when it's in health, it's a different approach. And I'm a coward on that. When I was 30, I had a thyroid storm. It was very scary. I'm perfectly fine. It's a lot of people, don't have a thyroid. A few get a thyroid storm.
What is that? What is a thyroid storm?
Basically, your thyroid goes crazy, and everything. The thyroid controls every organ in your body.
Yes.
So when it goes literally crazy, all your organs can fail.
Okay.
It's very major, but it's very rare. Actually, the doctors, when I went in, and I will never forget my ex-husband's face when that happened, when he was telling me. He comes in and he said, okay, what's going on? And the doctors that actually were friends of the family said, Carlos, we studied about it, but we have never seen it. But yeah, so the recovery from that, because obviously the thyroid controls all the hormones of your body too. So to get back to normal, it was, terrible. So anything health related, I'm either or take it out or fix it. But yeah.
How do you stay motivated when things don't go as planned?
I go back to my objective and remember it. And I have it written everywhere. Like if for any reason, I hate the falling down and coming back up. Like that process of...
Me too. Like the mental part, right?
Correct.
Like
the mental part.
If you let yourself fall and people say, let yourself feel this. Like I do sometimes, but if I'm here, I'm going like here. Okay. And then I'm coming right back up. I'm not going down here.
Me too. I hate that, that it doesn't take me anywhere. I feel, yes, sometimes I cry but it's usually not planned. Again,
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when you can, and then
You snap out of it.
and I literally do it physically. Like I am like, no. And I have in my purse and in many places, I have little signals that remind me, and that's where I go back to. Like my divorce was one of the toughest moments of my life, and I think it's one of the saddest, rather than tough. It was not tough. It was very, very, very sad for me, especially for the people that I had around me. And it was all wrong.
We didn't touch on this, and maybe you can or maybe you can't, but he did get kidnapped. You're picking yourself back up and figuring everything else, but you guys ended up separating?
Yes.
And he is okay now?
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay, got it.
He's okay, and he's here.
Got it.
But that process
Yeah.
of him coming back and we getting divorced was a very sad moment. And I don't like being sad. Like it's one of the things that...
I'm allergic to sadness. That's what I say.
Correct.
Don't come at me with it. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't.
Correct. So I developed these mechanisms, like leaving notes to myself. Silly things. They're very silly.
I don't think it's silly. I think it's great.
But it helped me control when the thoughts were coming, where to go.
Like I had to train myself to do that. And again, I read that somewhere.
Yep.
That you can actually take yourself from a situation, especially when when the situation is not going to change. Okay, and it's a tactic that I use a lot, and I try to teach my kids too, and it works
Yeah. What does true happiness look like for you
right now.
right now?
Like honestly, like right now, I
Oh,
don't.
life right now for you is true happiness.
Yeah, life is now. This is life. Your book, it's
It's happening right now in real time.
it's happening right now, and you can't you can change the past. You 100% you can control the future. So let's say you in your life, there's gonna be a point when you are gonna go have lunch at your favorite restaurant with your husband, and you think of that. Go do it now.
Don't leave it for the future. Don't postpone it.
We
Do it
feel sometimes that we don't control our lives, but we do. And I can hear people saying, "Well, no, I don't control my schedule. I don't." I get that, but you can do the things that you want to do if they are really important to you. If they are not a dream, I'm not talking about when I own my 5 homes. No, the real life. So happiness for me is my right now. I'm very happy in a relationship with an amazing man. I have 2 wonderful kids that I'm still teaching. They're not perfect. I do motherhood my way. I am in the job that I love. I have the business partner that I want. What else could it be?
Yeah. You know what you're showing today, we hit on it a little bit earlier, is that like even though you're always like, what's the next goal? What's the next goal? Doesn't matter. You still find contentment, fulfillment, and happiness right here, right now. You are. And just because you are always hitting the next goal for yourself and creating these new goals and these new metrics and these new moving targets, so to speak, that keep you going in your career, that doesn't mean that you're not happy and content right now. Because I say that because people say that to me like, well, like, why aren't you just happy? I'm like, I am. It's fun for me. You know, Tony Robbins says that for an average human to be alive and live a long, happy, healthy life, they have to see progress. That's our way of subconsciously finding and seeing that progress.
If you take that away, I remember, and I'm very religious, as you have seen. I believe in many things, but I'm a very religious person. And I remember every time, the first place that I lived when we came here was Brickell. And I loved the apartment that we lived in. And I loved Brickell. I just love it. I relate like very happy moments to it. And I remember we had moved to the Gables, and like a week before the incident with my ex-husband, I remember being in front of, because every time where St. Jude, the church is, when you go into Brickell, you see all the buildings. And I have pictures of every year that I've been taking, and it's so different. And I don't know, it's like my baby. And every time that I stopped in that light to go to my office, I would say, thank you, God. I can't believe that I got to live here. Thank you, God, for the life that I have. Wow. And I remember a week before, I was in the car in that same place, and I'm like, thank you, God. But I don't know what comes next. Like, I'm worried. Like, I didn't have that, you know, when you're little, when I graduate, when I go to college, when I get married,
what's next?
When I have my baby.
Something to look forward to.
And even when I was married and my kids existed, when I don't know, when I have a 3rd child, or when we go skiing in, but that day I was like, kind of like, but dude, I'm bored. Like, what? I'm never ever questioning God again. The only thing I could think that week when everything was going on was like, dude, I didn't mean something that big. Like, I didn't want it
bad. Yeah. My mom always says that to me. She's like, always be careful what you say and how you say it. Be grateful, which you are. We all are. But you're right. Sometimes we ask or we say something and then something does happen. It's not what we wanted.
Correct.
I don't know what you call that, but
well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
maybe
to
it's the
call
universe talking,
saying something.
But saying something.
Miami has you said something where you look at Brickell and you say, thank you. I'm so like lucky to be here and live here. I moved here 3 years ago. And to this day, when I get on the highway and go towards Sunset Harbor, because I have a couple people that I know out there, or I'm coming back, I get to see the ocean, right, on the highway. And every time I go, at least 3-4 times a week, I'm on that highway, causeway, whatever you call it. And I think the same thing. I'm like, man, I love it here. I could be having the worst day. And I see the ocean and I see that air. I'm just like, yes, thank you, God, I love it here so much, you know? And like sometimes I'll text my husband or I'll call my friend. I'm like, man, I seriously live in paradise. Like, this is so great. One palm tree, blue sky. And I'm like, because when I was little, I lived in Pennsylvania, Scranton, small town. And on my computer, when we first got a computer in the house, I had a screensaver on there, Microsoft Word. I don't know if you remember
Yes,
that.
yes.
But it was the blue sky with the palm tree, just the palm trees on the side.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I used to sit there and I was little and I was like, we don't have palm trees here, but I love palm trees. They're so pretty. And here we go, fast forward 33 years, I'm living in palm trees. So like I always see them and I'm like, you know, you notice those small things that to this day, they bring you such happiness.
Because I truly believe like your connection with, or not a connection, but your liking of the palm trees, like we all go, is like for me on September 11th, I say, I'm going to become an American someday.
Yeah. Something always happens in early. There's always like clues or hints or little things that come to you as you're a child that you connect the dots. My husband says this, you can never connect the dots moving forward, but once you're there, you can connect the dots backwards in life. And in mine, for sure, I can see little things that were guiding me. Yeah, you will be living near palm trees. Oh, you like palm trees? That's where you're going to be, or this is who you're going to become. You know, you like podcasts, or you like YouTube channels. Like there's always been little things along the way, even though I didn't know.
Correct. And it's usually something like visual or smells or taste, like it's something like natural. It's not something that you want.
Yeah. So everyone should always pay attention to those little nudges, I think, or details. If tomorrow was your last day, what message would you leave behind for the people that admire you and follow you?
That everything is possible. Dream big.
Dream big. Don't let anyone tell you no.
Don't let anyone tell you no.
Ali, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. It was fun.
Before I let you go, where can people find you and connect with you?
Well, I have my Instagram account that everybody has is ALA.broker, and in Compass, Ale Alfonso, or the Nicholas Group, in our webpage, thenicholasgroup.com.
Okay.
And my cell phone. The easiest way is text me.
We're not going to give your number
out.
out.
Send me a WhatsApp.
Don't WhatsApp me.
Find my number and text me.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Oh my God.